White House documents from around the January 6th attack to the congressional committee that is investigating. But that's now on hold, says ABC's Andy Field in Washington.
Former President Trump did not appoint any of the appeals judges who will decide whether he can shield his presidential records on what he did before, during, and after the January 6th U.S. Capitol attack. The court did delay turning over those documents until they can hear the former president's reasons at a hearing on November 30th. The House Investigation Committee has struggled to get Trump officials to testify and present evidence.
Johnson & Johnson is going to split into two companies. Its retail products business, including brands like Tylenol and Band-Aid, will be separate from its prescription drugs and medical devices. J&J, one of three manufacturers of COVID-19 vaccines authorized for use in the U.S. Some states are now going further in their recommendations for vaccine boosters. More on that from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Officials in Colorado and California are now encouraging every adult to get a COVID booster, though U.S. health officials haven't given it the okay. Many are still resisting the shots altogether. More than 107 million Americans remain unvaccinated.
A ninth person has died after the Astroworld Music Festival last week. 22-year-old college student Barty Shahani. All 9 victims are under 30. Others continue to fight for their lives, including a 9-year-old boy named Ezra. He went to the performance with his father, Treston Blount.
It's a nightmare because that's 9 years old. That's my boy, and I'm not ready to lose my boy at all.
He's filed a lawsuit against performer Travis Scott. Today is the final day of the United Nations Climate Summit in Scotland. You're listening to ABC News.
Ad paid for by Complete Car Care. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1985 now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
Inflation's 30-year high point is sending grocery bills skyrocketing. More on that from ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
It's forcing more and more Americans to food banks to make ends meet. In Teaneck, New Jersey, Renee Rodriguez tells us in the past year, they've gone from feeding 100 families a month to 700.
We had a lady come in, and she came and says, "Do you mind if I can get some food?" And she started sobbing. And we said, "Well, why are you crying?" And she said, "Because I used to give money toward this food drive and this food bank."
And now the head of Feeding America says inflation is hurting food banks' ability to feed those in need.
Also in New Jersey, Republican Jack Ciattarelli expected to officially concede the race for governor today. Sources tell ABC News Governor Phil Murphy will be reelected. Italy's now nixing billboards that put down women and others.
Here in Italy, the government has outlawed sexist or violent messages and ads along roads and highways, offensive gender stereotypes, messages which infringe on respect for individual freedoms, sexual orientation, gender identity, or mental abilities are all banned. So too are ads that offend civil and political rights, religious beliefs, or ethnicity. The new rules come after a bill that would have criminalized assaults targeting LGBTQ people and women failed to pass the Italian Senate last month. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
This is ABC News.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk on the same great 5G coverage as one of those carriers. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. The average family is saving over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250. Say Jill50.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the rest.
Good morning and happy Friday. It's a cloudy and mild start to your morning. Seeing some showers around the area as well, but those showers are quickly moving out. We'll see more sunshine and drier weather for the afternoon. Highs today are in the upper 60s and low 70s. Clear sky overnight tonight with the low to mid 40s tomorrow morning. For your Saturday afternoon, we'll see a mostly sunny sky with highs on the cooler side back in the low to mid 60s. We'll see temperatures in the upper 20s and low to mid 30s Sunday morning. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
The temperature is moving really fast this morning. We started out at 45. We're already at 51, but it'll be climbing to 68 before you know it. And it's going to be beautiful today. Sunny skies. No rain in the forecast as far as I can see right now, all the way through Thursday of next week. No rain in the forecast. It's beautiful sunny days during the daytime and cool nights. Tonight it's dropping back to 39. Saturday night it'll be 29 for the overnight low. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday morning. Welcome to the second hour of 3 of the morning wake-up call. And I have these death announcements right now. Bobby Hamrick, age 79, of Forest City, passed away Monday, November the 8th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. No formal services will be conducted, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with serving the family of Bobby Hamrick. Hazel F. Smith, age 71, of Forest City, passed away Wednesday, November the 10th, at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock November the 15th at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Hazel F. Smith. Francis Jenkins Hamrick, age 95, of Mooresboro, passed away Monday, November the 8th at Wendover Hospice House in Shelby. The family will receive friends Saturday, November 13th from 1 until 2 at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church in Mooresboro. The funeral will be at 2 o'clock at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, and burial will be in the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church Cemetery. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, serving the family of Francis Jenkins Hamrick. Dorothy Dot Helen Hovis Beatty, age 95, formerly of Spindale, passed away Tuesday at Cedar Creek Living. A celebration of life will be conducted at 1 o'clock today in the chapel of Crow's Mortuary. Dot will lie and stay 30 minutes prior to the service. The family will receive friends following the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Dot Beatty. Mabel Paget Davis, 97, of Rutherfordton, passed away Monday at Fairhaven of Forest City. Funeral services will be held 2:30 Sunday, November the 14th at Crow's Mortuary. Burial will follow in the Spindale City Cemetery, the family receiving friends from 2 until 2:30. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Mabel Paget Davis. Gil Mays, age 100, died Friday, November the 5th at his home in Forest City. Still no arrangements announced by the Paget and King Mortuary and Cremator for Gilbert Mays. James Ted Guffey, age 74, of Kings Mountain, died Tuesday, November the 9th at his home. A graveside service will be held 1 o'clock Saturday, November 13th at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends following the service at the cemetery. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of the arrangements for James Ted Guffey. Judy Vess, age 69, of Ellenboro, passed away Thursday at her residence. A gathering of family and friends will be held from 4 until 6 at Harrelson Funeral Home on Sunday, November 14th. A memorial service will be held at a later date. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Judy Vess. Jimmy Todd Paget passed away November the 8th. No services are planned at this time, and Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, tune in this morning at 11:35 and again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report for the complete information on all of these and others as they become available to us. Stand by now for the Bill O'Reilly Morning Update, and we'll get to the phone calls here in just a few moments, right after Chronicles of the Old West.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Attention investors, want predictable monthly cash flow? How about double-digit annualized targeted returns with the benefits of real estate without being a landlord? Peace of mind comes from investing with a 15-year industry leader. Savvy investors are learning about the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund, and you should too. So please call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at NRIA.net.
On this Friday, you might be tired of hearing me say that the national corporate media is corrupt. It's true, and I think most of you are convinced after all the evidence we presented, but there is another aspect here beside the corruption. I worked at CBS News as well as ABC News. I was a general assignment reporter. The main driver of national journalism back then was uncovering important facts. Today, most fact-finding has vanished. Many reporters take the lazy way out, parroting the obvious using anonymous sources. On Wednesday evening of this week, the No Spin News uncovered information the corporate media apparently could not find. Not that they were looking. It has to do with Biden versus Trump, the January 6th story. President Biden has issued an executive order demanding the National Archives hand over private conversations between Trump and his top advisors on January 6th, the day of the attack on the Capitol. Mr. Trump is trying to block claiming executive privilege. A liberal judge ruled in favor of Biden, but that, I don't believe, will stand. Here's what we found out. On his second day in office, January 19, 2009, President Obama signed Executive Order 13489 that specifically states former presidents can legally evoke executive privilege with respect to records kept in the National Archives. The exact situation today, and that order is still in place. Now this. Listen, some things we can all agree on, like the value of a good night's sleep. That's why no gift will be more appreciated this holiday season than Cozy Earth sheets. These are by far the softest, most luxurious sheets I have ever owned. They're also temperature regulating, so you sleep comfortably year-round. Save 35%, wow, on Cozy Earth bedding right now. Please go to CozyEarth.com, enter Bill, and save 35%. That's CozyEarth.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Have you noticed lately how empty everything is? Empty streets, empty stores, empty schools. But I'm trying to change these empty times by being full of gratitude. Gratitude means saying thanks to the garbage collector, the medical providers, and all those who are helping every day. Things may appear empty around us, but when we're filled with gratitude, nothing is completely empty inside us. Gratitude is in you. From PassItOn.com.
This is Gilbert. I'm back on the air every Saturday from 8 to 9. So put on a pot of coffee, sit down, and listen to Gilbert Talks Taxes. You just might learn something.
WCAB, the music's on us.
Roger Statenborn was a Russian immigrant whose body contained scars from gun and knife fights. Although he wasn't a true cowboy, he did hang around some of the cowboys who were rustlers and desperados. Picking up the obvious name of Russian Bill, while in New Mexico he became friends with a Sandy King. Now Russian Bill and Sandy engaged in some minor outlawry in the Deming, New Mexico area. It just also happened that also operating in that area was a very active vigilante group. Sandy King was arrested by the vigilantes and brought to trial for stealing a horse. It was decided he should be hanged. At the end of the trial, someone pointed out that Russian Bill was in the courtroom. It was decided to hang him also, not for any specific crime, but for a reason we can all understand. He was to hang because he was just a nuisance. So on November 9, 1881, ropes were thrown over the rafters of the bar at the Shakespeare Hotel, and the deed was done. The men were left hanging overnight so that when the morning stage arrived, the passengers would appreciate how the people of Shakespeare dealt with evildoers. Not only did it not scare the passengers, one passenger actually took Russian Bill's boots. Later, the local sheriff received an inquiry from the American consul in Russia on behalf of a mother who was inquiring about her son, William Tattenborn. Not wishing to distress a mother, the sheriff replied that her son had come to his end from a shortage of breath due to a sudden change in altitude. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James has added 2 new sandwiches to his already delightful menu. Along with the fresh-cooked burgers, sandwiches, fresh salads, hot dogs made to order, now try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Both come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford, or call 828-447-4644. And Mondays only, hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
The Friday morning news report opens up this morning with a stop at the Sheriff's Department. And Deputy Brandel is on the phone with me right now. I keep wanting to promote you, sir.
Hey, I'll take whatever I can get. I will.
How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great. You?
Yeah, doing great. Tell us what's been going on.
Good. Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 120 calls for service. Processed 7 arrests at county jail and currently have 171 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Douglas Kurt McGinnis Jr., 40-year-old white male of Mooresboro, was charged with a domestic violence protective order violation, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of paraphernalia. He wasn't given a bond due to the domestic violence. We have a Kevin Stewart Frederick, 50-year-old white male of Ellenborough, was charged with possession of methamphetamine and given, looks like no bond listed at this time on that. We have a Ashley Hamilton, 25-year-old black female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear on a criminal summons or citation and given a $500 secured bond. Under our incident reports, we have a, looks like Dollar General on Oakland Road in Far City, reported a case of misdemeanor larceny. Looks like they took some plastic trash bags and paper towels and other unknown items. Looks like they've got a suspect in that case. We have a Dustin Green reported a incident of felony larceny occurred on Hudlow Road in Rutherford. Looks like numerous tools were taken to include an impact wrench, a drill, a bandsaw, a skill saw, a generator, and a chainsaw, valued at looks like approximately over $3,000. And that's all we have for you this morning.
Deputy Randall, thank you very much for that report, and I hope you're safe out there this weekend.
Yes, sir. You take care.
See you now. 18 minutes after 7 o'clock, Friday morning continues here with a caller and report going to 911 Communication Center next. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. And speaking of football, our game tonight is going to be Chase at Reedsville, 7 o'clock countdown, 7:30 kickoff. And here is Melissa with the 911 report. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning. In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed a total of 396 911 and administrative calls. These consisted of 44 for emergency medical services, 120 for the Sheriff's Office, 113 for the town of Forest City, 23 for Rutherfordton, 3 for Lake Lure, and 34 for Spindale. Under fire calls, the Ellenboro Fire Department responded to a carbon monoxide leak. The Forest City Fire Department responded to a residential fire alarm. Rutherfordton responded to both a motor vehicle crash and a brush fire, and Spindale had a structure fire.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. 20 minutes after 7.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Ruby Taylor, are things nice and quiet over in Danieltown?
Yes, they are.
Well, that's good.
They are. I don't know anything about it. They won't tell me nothing.
They won't tell you anything?
No. I'm sitting here on the hill. Don't know nothing.
Well, you have to wring their necks and slap them around a little bit. Maybe they'll get to talk to you a little better.
Well, maybe. On my birthday calendar, I've got Angela Johnson and Jean Waters having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. And don't have any tomorrow. Sunday, Laura Thompson and my granddaughter Josie Church is having birthdays. Mr. and Ms. Josh Jones, Mr. and Ms. Mike Summers, anniversary. Hope all these people have a nice day, and the fire department didn't have anything.
All right, Ruby, thanks very much, and you enjoy your weekend.
You too, and goodbye.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Now it's 51 degrees and 7:23. We're going up to the Fairfield Mountains Fire District and I talked with Gary Wilson this morning. Gary, is everybody wake up on the hill?
Hey, we're trying to get woke up. I got 1 hour anyway this morning.
Well, it's going to be a beautiful day. We don't want to miss it.
No, it's going to be nice, ain't it? I'm about upper 60 today. A little cooler for the weekend, but for November, we can't argue with the weather we've been getting, that's for sure.
That's right.
We had about 6/10 of an inch of rain the last 24 hours, so that helped. Dampen these leaves down some. They'll start coming down hard now, I guess, to get a little bit of wind after the rain and everything. Be careful on the roadways. Them things are split when you're driving along, hit a patch of them. And we've had a quiet 24 hours as far as fire calls go, and everything peaceful this morning. And hope everybody had a good Veterans Day yesterday and good weekend coming up.
Well, I hope so, too. When I walked out this morning, it looked like it rained leaves all night. My walkway in my backyard is completely covered.
I know. I cleaned off my deck yesterday and then walked out there this morning and couldn't even see it. Covered up with leaves.
Well, Gary, I appreciate you being on the report with us, and you be safe up there and have a good weekend.
You too, Jim.
Thanks.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
All right, let's check with DeVern over in Boston and see if they're nice and quiet over there, if they're still awake or asleep, or what's going on over there, DeVern.
Well, we're awake right now. It's foggy over here, 52 degrees. Fire department had no calls. It's been quiet with the fire department. Christmas open house at Boston Floors Thursday, November the 18th, 9 to 7. Come by and get your refreshment and shop for decoration and gifts. Order your porn set ahead. Then we have one birthday, Lily Whitesides.
All right. Well, you have a good Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday, and I'll talk to you again on Monday.
Okay, you have a good weekend.
Thanks. Bye. That's DeVern there in Boston with that report. I want to give a big shout out to my special friend Raina Ramsey, celebrating her 8th birthday today. Raina, good morning and happy birthday. We'll talk about her again during the birthday time, but I just want to give her a big shout out this morning early, so maybe she could hear that.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Here's a man that's always up early. Imogene won't let him sleep in at all. She makes him get out of bed early. Bob Hodge, how you doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing just fine up here on this Friday morning.
Good. Glad to hear it.
That sun's coming up pretty this morning. A lot better than yesterday. It was just a dreary day yesterday, just around, but looks a lot better this morning.
Good. I'm glad it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Well, it looks like it's going to be cooler, but that's that time of the year, though, so that making them leaves fall off, ain't it? So wind blow a little bit, they'll fly everywhere.
That's right.
But, Jim, things are going along good so far up here this morning. Overnight, the fire department hadn't had any fire calls. And birthdays for Saturday, Jennifer Swaney. And now the Mount Vernon Community Club is having their country ham and chicken pie supper coming up this coming Saturday. And that's 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. It'll be drive-through only. You go in at the Mount Vernon Church Road and drive around to the clubhouse, and someone will take your order there. They'll have country ham, chicken pie, green beans, slaw, grits, apple salts, and biscuits, and dessert. And, Jim, that's about it up here in our neck of the woods this morning, and I hope everybody has a good weekend.
Bob, I hope you do, too. I hope you get to do some of the things you want to do this weekend and enjoy it and be safe, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Hey folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Jay Coombs, Mr. Friday Night, as we have pegged him, will be on the radio with me a little after 8 o'clock this morning, talk about tonight's high school football games. And we have a couple of teams in our county that's still going on to the postseason playoffs, and we'll find out more about that and the game that we're covering tonight as well. That's a little about 8:05 this morning with Mr. Friday Night, Jay Coombs. Now we're going over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District, and Mrs. Cherry Mountain, Sue Price, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Beautiful morning over here. Let's see. I didn't have anything awesome in the fire department. Don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I've got Rainey Ramsey, so I hope Rainey will have a good day today. And nothing on First Broads for today. And, of course, Rainey is on Fairview's calendar. Not too many celebrating that I know of, but we have been made it having a birthday or anniversary. We'll have a real good day on this special day and enjoy it. And as far as I know, I don't have anything going on. It's just quiet and calm over this way and looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim, and a good weekend.
Thanks, Sue. You too, and I will check with you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And we're going up to Shingle Hollow Fire District this morning on Friday morning to get the report from Tina White. She is up and at 'em already and on the telephone right now with Todd, even as they're getting set up to go. And we'll get to her in just a moment after they finish their conversation out there on the phone. And I see he's hanging up phone, so that's my turn to go on the phone now with Tina White from Shingle Hollow. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning from Shingle Hollow. I am doing fine on this Friday.
Good.
Fine as frog hair split 4 ways.
Oh, if I tell you, that's really feeling good.
It is a beautiful morning already up here. The sun's bright and shining. The leaves are so beautiful. I don't recall ever seeing leaves as pretty as they are right now.
They are beautiful, aren't they?
They are. They're going to make a mess to have to blow and rake and all that stuff, but they sure are beautiful.
They're so pretty, I think I'm just going to leave mine in the backyard and not even rake them up.
Well, some people do. No calls for the fire department. 48 degrees on the front porch. Birthdays today on Piney Knob's calendar, we have Mr. Larry Strickland. I hope he has a wonderful birthday. No other birthdays or anniversaries. And then announcements. White House Community Clubhouse. They're busy as bees over there. Tomorrow, they'll have the turkey shoot, so come out at 11 o'clock. And then next Saturday on November 20th, the White House Community Clubhouse is having a bake sale and a vendor event, 10 to 5. Come on out, Christmas shop. And if you're interested in being a vendor there, you can contact Jennifer Parker at 828-755-4319 or Miss Mary Harris at 828-460-0357. And believe it or not, that's all I've got going on up here right now.
Do you do your Christmas shopping early, or do you wait till the last minute?
I try to buy a little through the year. When I see something that says, hey, this is what so-and-so needs, I'll get it.
Yeah.
But most, sometimes I procrastinate, too. It's just according to what kind of mood I'm in, I suppose.
What strikes you at the moment,
Wasn't it Kim Beatty that used to buy hers all way ahead of time?
She did, yeah, and Brenda Kelly does that.
Yeah. I didn't realize Brenda did it.
Yep.
So Brenda's probably already got all of hers bought.
I think probably so, yeah.
We'll have to ask her.
There are folks who do shop all year, they take advantage of the after Christmas sales, which is smart.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm guilty of doing? So I buy all year and I hide it. I think, okay, I got to hide this so they won't find it, and then I forget where
I've done that so many times. It's unbelievable. I'll find it 30 days later or something. Oh, by the way, here's another Christmas present I forgot. But they enjoy getting it after. It's got to be a game almost in my place. We've done that so many times. We'll hide them and I forget where I put them.
Yes.
That's all right. As long as they get them.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, my son says, now, Mom, Christmas doesn't start till December 1st. Let's enjoy Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving. He likes, but I love the Christmas music, and I love to put up my tree, but I haven't. I've been hesitating.
Enjoy the Thanksgiving season. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone has a very blessed weekend, and you, Jim, have a good weekend because it's going to be beautiful, and I'll talk to you Monday.
Thanks, Tina. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know what? Reporting out of Shingle Hollow Fire District, 36 minutes after 7 o'clock, going up to Union Mills next. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. All right, Union Mills, you ready for us?
I'm ready. Just come right on in.
Here we come. Bum, bum, bum. Here we come. What's your occupation?
Over the river and through the woods. Or over the creek and through the woods.
Yeah. What was that game that you kids used to play? Bum, 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 here I come. What's your
Yeah.
occupation?
I hadn't thought about, golly, I hadn't thought about that, I don't guess, since I was in grammar school.
Yeah, it's been that long since I remember ever playing it. Then you had to act out what your occupation was, and then you had to guess it.
Yeah, sort of like charades or something.
And it seemed like if they guessed it, then you had to run to your place, and they had to catch you. I don't remember how it's played exactly, but something like that.
Children don't play like that anymore, do they?
Oh, you got to have a video game now.
That's it, yeah. I know you and Tina was talking about my Christmas shopping. I've got it all done except for one gift, and that's from my great-grandson, and he's 7 years old, and I've got him one thing, but, you know, that's just some little old something.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get him something nice, and so I've asked Dee Dee, my daughter, what to get him, and she said, well, I don't know. Said, we'll just have to wait and ask Christopher, that's his daddy. And he said, get him church clothes. Well, a 7-year-old don't want church clothes for Christmas. He wants a video game.
Sure he does.
Oh, man, I couldn't help but think, but we was talking about playing different games, and you said, yeah, they want video games. That's right. Nowadays, that's all they know. They don't know how to go out and play and entertain themselves.
Yeah. I would know how to start to buy a video game.
Well, I don't neither. I don't buy them. I leave that up to the mom and the daddy.
I don't know the games well enough to know and what's hot and what's not.
Nope, I don't either. So there you are. But I'll figure out something to get him. But that's the only one I like.
Once we get through past Pac-Man, I'm lost.
I hear you. But we hope everybody's having a good Friday. It's going to be a beautiful day. The sun's up, and I've got 46 degrees on the front porch. Excuse me. And in ways of, I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries. And in ways of announcements, Gilkey School Community Center on Saturday the 13th will have a breakfast starting at 7 a.m. and going to 10 a.m. And the cost is adults $7, kids 6 to 12 $3, 5 and under free. And then tonight, the coat locker will open at 4:30 p.m. and stay open till 7 p.m. And they've got all kind of things to help keep you warm. They've got coats, gloves, scarves, and they said they had lots of them. So if you need anything like that, go by there, and they'll be glad to fix you up. And other than that, I don't know of anything going on. So.
Well, I learned for sure yesterday that the town of Forest City is going to have their usual lighting of the tree on Thanksgiving night like we did it a few years ago.
Oh, well, good.
And we have the privilege of doing a Christmas concert prior to the turning of the lights on. So that's going to be held Thanksgiving night. And then on Sunday following Thanksgiving, they'll have their annual Christmas parade.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I always enjoy. I've went several times down there for the turning on of the lights, and it's really pretty. It's real dark. I believe they turn all the store lights and everything off when it's right time to turn them on, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Everything's completely black, dark, and then they flip that switch, and wow,
and the lights come on. Yeah, and it's so pretty.
Yeah, amazing.
So, in His Glory's going to be there.
We will do the Christmas concert there on the
good.
platform, so we're looking
Who
forward
have
to
you got singing tenor for you now?
Greg Phillips from Gaffney.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I've seen and heard him, yeah. And I was going to comment yesterday on that little Stephen Keeter song that you played, Little As Much, and I said, that's Stephen Keeter singing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask Jim, but then you said, and that was Stephen Keeter.
Yeah, can't miss him. He's got quite a voice.
He has. He's got a beautiful voice. Of course, you've had a lot of good tenor singers. Michael Henderson's a good one.
He is a good one. Yep. We've had some
been
good ones.
fortunate.
Got a good one right now. We got a pretty good team going. I hope we can stay together for a long time to come yet.
Well, I hope you can too.
They may have to wheel me up on the stage in a wheelchair some point, but as long as my voice holds out, maybe I can still sing.
Well, that'll be all right. Yeah.
Listen, Brett, I'll miss you next week, but I know you're going to have a good trip, and I guess somebody will be with you in the morning.
Yeah, and you better go check on Luke for Sweet Thing and see if everything's all right in Ellenburg.
You have a great trip.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. 7:41, Friday morning, the 12th of November. Ellenboro Report is next.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
All right, let's go to Ellensboro, North Carolina. That's the home of the man about town that tells us what's going on in Ellensboro. His name is Luther Gilligan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, you two. Nice day down here this morning.
Well, I'm glad you're up and at 'em already.
Hey, been up and at 'em. No, just been up. Haven't been at 'em. I'm going to get at 'em directly.
All right.
But it's a good morning. It's quiet this morning. Not a whole lot going on. It's Friday. Everybody's trying to get the day over. Looking forward to a good weekend. The city fire department only had one call about 9:30 last night. Got a medical call. Other than that, they've been quiet. He said they were just enjoying a cup of coffee this morning. So nothing else going on down here, Jim. You have a great day, I bet. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right, Luther. Have a good weekend. Keep your eye on things for us.
All right. Take care now.
All right, bye. That leaves us time now for birthdays and anniversaries for this 12th day of November. If you are celebrating, call us now. Todd's standing by out there to take those birthday calls. We'd love to give you a big shout out and let folks know you're lived to see another birthday. 287-3356 is the birthday number, 287-3356. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled Aryee. Breakfast is being served at Granny B's. Yes, they do breakfast now. All the favorites you like, eggs and sausage and liver mush and bacon, and you can have it fixed anyway, biscuits and gravy. Go by and have breakfast with them, or go by and place your order and take it to work with you. Either way, you're going to enjoy the breakfast now being served at Granny B's. They've opened already, opened at 6:30 this morning, and they will serve you breakfast hot and fresh off the griddle. And also, keep remember that tonight's Friday night. You may want a pizza. They got Granny B's favorite, Granny B's special pizza there, so enjoy that also. And save room for the Daylight Donuts. They got it all together at Granny B's there in Spindale. Why don't you enjoy the weekend with some good hot food? Happy birthday. Well, we want to wish a happy birthday to Raina Ramsey. It's her 8th birthday. She did a fantastic job doing the Pledge of Allegiance at a Lincoln Reagan dinner sometime back. And the sweet little girl, I want to wish her happy. Sue Brooks is 83 today, lives over in the Race Path community. Wish Sue a happy birthday. Other birthdays today include Dewitt Wallace. He's the founder of Reader's Digest. He was born in 1889. Grace Kelly, actress and Princess of Monaco, born in 1929 and died in 1929. Born in 1929 and died in 1982. 1934, Charles Manson was born, died in 2017. 1945, Neil Young, he's a singer, was born. 1980, Ryan Gosling, he's an actor, he was born on this date. Some of the big events on this day: 1880, Ben-Hur is published. They later turned into a movie. 1910, first movie stuntman jumped from a burning balloon into the Hudson River. 1933, first known photo of Loch Ness Monster is taken. In 1946, Walt Disney's Song of the South is released. So now you're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB in Rutherfordton. Coming up, Keys to Confident Living, 8:05, Mr. Friday Night. And then following that, speaker or someone from the Small Business Center talk about big day in Rutherford County on Saturday. So stand by for all of that.
By the edge of the sidewalk just outside my home church are 2 memorial stones and 2 pine trees. These 2 markers are in memory of 2 young men from that church who gave themselves in service to their country. One is for a schoolboy friend of mine, and the other is for my brother. I wish these stones were in honor of these 2 men rather than in memory of them. However, we can't turn back the clock in our lives and relive our schoolboy days, but such memories can cause us to be more thankful for those we may see every day, but take for granted. The parents of a young man who was killed in the World War gave their church a generous gift as a memorial to their loved one. When the presentation was made, another war mother whispered to her husband, "Let us give the same for our boy." The father said, "Why, what are you talking about? Our boy didn't lose his life." The mother said, "That's just the point. Let us give it because he didn't." The freedoms we enjoy and the privileges that we take for granted were secured for us at a high cost by both the dead and the living. Why not stop a few minutes today and in some way express thanks for the sacrifice of so many on our behalf? The Bible says, "In everything, give thanks." This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS. That number again, 1-888-333-KEYS.
This is Gilbert. I'm back on the air every Saturday from 8 to 9. So put on a pot of coffee, sit down, and listen to Gilbert Talks Taxes. You just might learn something.
WCAB. The music's on us on WCAB.
Student is the 9th person to die after the crowd surge at last week's Astroworld Festival in Houston. Barty Shahani, a Texas A&M senior, went to the festival with her cousin, Mohit Balani.
They suffocated us. They did this to Barty. They suffocated Barty.
And new logs from Houston first responders obtained by ABC News show the speed at which the festival descended into chaos. ABC's Marcus Moore says it began early in the day.
Fans crawling under fences, wielding bolt cutters, or using brute force to storm checkpoints. But it was just before Travis Scott took the stage at 9:30 that night that firefighters ominously noted, quote, "This is when it all got real."
That crowd is super thick. If you go in there, this could possibly turn into an officer rescue situation.
Over the next hour, dozens of fans were trampled or crushed as Travis Scott and Drake performed, with medics and Good Samaritans struggling to get help.
Closing arguments are set to begin Monday in the Wisconsin murder trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. He says he acted in self-defense when he shot 3 people, killing 2 during protests last year in Kenosha. The State Department now says all American citizens in Afghanistan who've wanted to leave have been offered departure. Not all, though, have yet left the country. It's almost 3 months after the Biden administration took all U.S. forces out of Afghanistan. ABC's Karen Travers is at the White House, where today President Biden meets virtually with Asia-Pacific leaders.
This afternoon, the president gathers his cabinet together for just their 3rd formal meeting. The White House says this cabinet meeting will focus on the bipartisan infrastructure bill passed by Congress. The president will leave the White House this evening to spend the weekend at Camp David.
President expected to sign that infrastructure bill into law Monday. Johnson & Johnson is going to split into 2 companies sometime in the next 2 years. Its consumer products, including brands like Band-Aid and Tylenol, will be separated from its prescription drug and medical device business. You're listening to ABC News.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom, a single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at exergen.com.
The Ahmad Arbury murder trial continues in Georgia. The judge admonished an attorney Thursday. ABC's Steve Osensami has details.
In court, where the seating is limited, one of the defense lawyers got upset about Reverend Al Sharpton taking one of the few spaces.
We don't want any more black pastors coming in here.
It went racial real fast.
If a bunch of folks came in here dressed like Colonel Sanders with white masks sitting in the back, I mean, that would be great.
25-year-old Ahmad Arbury was killed in February of last year after he was seen leaving the construction site and was chased around the neighborhood by the 3 white men accused of murder and other charges.
A long stint behind bars awaits an American journalist in Southeast Asia.
Danny Fenster has been sentenced to 11 years in prison in military-run Myanmar after being found guilty of a number of charges, including allegedly spreading false or inflammatory information. The 37-year-old managing editor of the independent online magazine Frontier Myanmar was also found guilty of breaching immigration law and contacting illegal organizations. Fenster was detained at Yangon International Airport in May, just as he tried to board a flight home to the Detroit area to see his family. He's one of dozens of journalists that have been arrested in a crackdown on dissent since the military took power in a coup in February. Britt Clement, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
A Taliban spokesman says a bomb blast in a mosque in eastern Afghanistan has wounded 15 people. This is ABC News.
Your nose is the body's air filter, the first line of defense against airborne allergens, bacteria, and viruses. You wash your hands to protect your health. Now you can clean your nose with Navage. Online at Navage.com. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you're paying too much. Switching to Pure Talk saves the average family over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill50.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Hello, everyone. We made it to a Friday. We're watching a cold front moving east across the state today. The clouds will be clearing west to east, and we'll see more sunshine in the forecast through the afternoon. A lovely Friday afternoon expected with highs today in the upper 60s and low 70s. Clearer sky overnight tonight, chillier as well as we start back in the low to mid 40s tomorrow morning. We'll see a mostly sunny sky Saturday afternoon with highs in the low to mid 60s. Much colder Sunday morning. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Temperature is moving pretty fast this morning. We started out at 48. It's now up to 54. It keeps climbing up to about 68. Sun's beginning to break through out there. It's going to be another great getting up morning and a beautiful weekend here in the foothills. Tomorrow, it's 57. And then on Sunday, 57. Tonight, it's dropping back to 39, 29 tomorrow night. So a little chilly out there on Saturday night. It's 8:05. Got a lot of things to do this next 30 minutes. First of all, we have Mr. Friday Night on the phone, and following Mr. Friday Night, we have the director of the Small Business Center talk about an event coming up real soon. You need to know about that as well. And we'll get to Mr. Friday Night right after this.
More than 1.5 million Americans have given their lives while wearing the uniform of one of our nation's armed services. Anyone engaged in military service must be prepared to endure hardship, even death, in a time of war. Throughout our history, America's veterans have willingly made these sacrifices for their country. On November 11th, we salute veterans across the land and right here at home.
East Rutherford Equipment is your Mahindra headquarters. Stop by East Rutherford Equipment and drive one home today. Doyle, Tommy, and the staff at East Rutherford Equipment on Hamrick Road in Ellenboro would like to say thank you to all of our veterans for keeping us free and our flag flying high. Special thanks go out to James, Robert, John, Hugh, Earl, and Clyde Hollifield for years of service in the U.S. Army. Also, Jess Dodgen, U.S. Army, and Jim Mode Bickerstaff, United States Navy. This Veterans Salute has been brought to you courtesy of East Rutherford Equipment in Ellenboro.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock on this beautiful Friday morning. Well, the Braves already did. They won the World Series. Basketball has started. Tar Heels played we'll be playing this week. And high school football is still underway, still going on. And Mr. Friday Night's on the phone right now to tell us all about the lineup for tonight. Jay Combs, good morning.
Well, good morning, Jim.
We got a lot of sports going on right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe, but here we are, week number 2 of the high school football playoffs. Both of our local teams still alive in the postseason. We'll start off 7:30 kickoff tonight in Avondale. Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy Griffins, now 7-3, will play host to the Cavaliers of number 12 North Rowan. First time these two teams have ever played one another. This is a great matchup. 2 7-3 teams. For the Griffins, a win tonight, they would either be at home next week hosting Cherokee, the team that knocked them out of the playoffs 3 years ago, or they would travel to Robbinsville next Friday night, the team that knocked them out 2 years ago. So already hate to look ahead, but interesting matchup next week if the Griffins can get past North Rowan tonight. Last time that North Rowan had anything to do with a Rutherford County football team, way back in 1992. This was the team that knocked East Rutherford out of the 3A playoffs back in 1992 by a score of 24-7. It was the Western Regional Final game. And then the very next week, North Rowan went on to win the state championship that year. But North Rowan and our Rutherford County teams have not faced one another in a long, long time. Should be a great game tonight. 7:30 kickoff in Avondale. TJ hosting North Rowan. That is in the 1A playoffs. And it looks like it's beautiful weather. So Cliff and I have decided, hey, it's a great day to make a 3-hour road trip and that's what we're going to do. We're going to head up close to the Virginia border because tonight we've got number 13 Chase at number 4 Reedsville. On paper, this is a great matchup tonight in the 2A playoffs. Chase 10-1, Reedsville undefeated at 10-0. Talk about a football tradition. Reedsville has 19 high school state championships dating all the way back to 1930. They have won the state championship at the 2A level 4 of the past 5 seasons. In fact, their current head coach, Jimmy Teague, has claimed all 4 of those most recent state titles. Chase and Reedsville, to the best of my knowledge, have not played football before. East Rutherford has played the Rams back in the playoffs 3 years ago. They got beat 41-6, and it was about 6 years ago they played Reedsville, losing by 9, 16-7. Reedsville has a football tradition that I would have to say is bigger than Shelby, if you can imagine. We are headed into a very, very Friday Night Lights football town tonight. They claim that they pretty much shut down the whole town. Everybody turns out for the game. I think it's going to be a great matchup tonight. Chase at Reedsville. And the winner of this game tonight, well, they will get to face either Burns or Hendersonville next Friday night. So the postseason, it's going to be a good one. It's already started off good. This week, a lot of competitive games, and it only gets better as we get into round week 3, week 4, week 5, then the state championship. Got the fingers crossed, hoping tonight for a couple of wins. Chase at Reedsville, North Rowan at TJ, 7:30 kickoff, both games, and our featured game tonight will be Chase at Reedsville.
And we look forward to it. Always exciting to hear you broadcast those games, Jay. You and Cliff do a great job sending the message back home to the folks of us who can go. So keep up the good work.
I just hope we can broadcast back a big win tonight.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Be safe on the road, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, bye-bye. Jay Coombs, Mr. Friday Night, with an update on tonight's games, and we will have that game on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, and on www.wcab59.com, and they also have it on Facebook channel. I'm not sure what that is, but they have that also. You can stay in touch with high school football right here. It's 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Have another special guest in the studio with me coming up in just a moment.
It's time to revive your internet. Get speeds all the way up to 5 gig. Plus, right now, we're offering 1 month free and free installation when you sign up for internet with prices as low as $39.99 monthly. Get Vive's fiber-rich internet that comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So revive your internet with a free month and free installation. This is a limited-time offer, so call today or visit vivebroadband.com to sign up. For ends 1/2/22, modem taxes and fees extra, not available in all areas. See vivebroadband.com for additional restrictions.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith's Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith's Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recall devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith's Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines, and November is Diabetes Month. Get 10% off diabetic socks for the month of November at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
15 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Friday morning, and of course, Thanksgiving is coming up real soon. We know a lot of you look forward to that. A lot of you look forward to the day after Thanksgiving. Do a lot of what they call Black Friday shopping. Well, there's another mode of shopping we want to encourage and have been doing that for a while. And with me in the studio right now is Faye Bishop, Director of the Small Business Center, to talk about how much we want you to shop at home. Good morning, Faye.
Good morning.
It's a little bit closer to the microphone there. The day after Thanksgiving, locally, we like to support our local folks, don't we?
We do. And the reason for that is because of the impact it has upon the community. And I think a lot of times we are not aware of even how small a thing can be an impact. Just picking up a cup of coffee at a local cafe is helping that business. It's also supporting the community. And we have a specific time set. It's called Small Business Saturday. And that's after Black Friday, reminding us to shop local. And American Express started that, just to give a brief history, back in 2010 after a recession there. They tried it, and because it was such a success, they continued on. And then 2011, the Senate actually unanimously voted that that be a traditional thing each year to remind the people to shop locally on Small Business Saturday. So that's what we want you to do this Saturday, or this particular Saturday coming up. So hopefully as you're out and about, you'll think about that every time you buy. And this year especially, since a lot of people are wanting to get items that they're told they may not get because of the difficulty in getting them shipped out, the difficulty in them being there. So we want to encourage you to think about shopping this particular Saturday after Thanksgiving and Black Friday, shopping locally. So that's part of what we're looking at. And I know statistics are hard to remember, but I just wanted to give a couple of those that I think are interesting. There are over 31 million small businesses in the United States.
Wow.
And the way the SBA, the Small Business Administration, which is our federal program for small business, any business that has under 500 employees is considered a small business. To me, I think of that being a larger business, but so that means that people with fewer than 100 employees account for 98.2% of that number. So that's a lot. And then fewer than 20 employees counts for 89% of all businesses in the country. So when you think of that, there's a lot of small businesses. I looked up the top 25 businesses in Rutherford County, and we only have 2 that are over 500 employees. So everybody in our area pretty much is considered a small business because of the way it's numbered.
Since we talked about this last year, there have been a number of new small businesses opened up here in the county, family-run, mom-and-pop type stores that are opening up, and I'm excited to see that happen. So we got a lot of reasons to shop at home.
We do, and of course 2020 brought some businesses closing, but it also brought new businesses. It's amazing how many new businesses started as a result of that, because people were at home, some of them trying to decide what to do, and it gave them some time to think about it, and they decided to go ahead with that dream or that desire that they had and open those businesses. So there has been a lot of growth, even though it's been a difficult time for the small businesses that were existing and staying in business. I guess the biggest problem that we have right now, it seems, is workers, the labor force, and all of us have experienced that. If you've been out and about, you know that some of the restaurants have had to change their hours because they don't have enough help. Other people have had to close for a period of time. So it affects everybody. Everywhere you go, they're looking for workers, people to get out and help. And so not only can we help in purchasing from them, but maybe we can help in realizing that, if you feel good and you'd like to work and you don't want a 40-hour week and you don't want an 8-hour day, it might be that you could help some of these out for a small period of time and enjoy getting back into meeting with people and being a part of the community. And you're not going to get rich doing it, but by the same token, it would make an impact on the community and I think help the people as well.
Let me make a suggestion to those of you who are listening. I know I don't have a thing in the world against the big chain stores and those folks from somewhere else, but if you're unfamiliar with what's happening in Forest City, Spindale, and Rutherford, park your car somewhere there in town and you walk up and down the streets of Forest City. We got a brand new hardware store right in downtown Forest City, locally owned. It's not a chain, it's locally owned. We've got several new stores. Just walk down the street, find out who they are, and go and say hello. And both in Spindale and Rutherford, we have those, and even outside the city limits, there are those companies that are right here, family owned and family proud, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. So if we support them, when we buy locally, the money stays right here, and it doesn't go off somewhere else.
That's right. So when you think about it, and you think about those small businesses, when I am working with a small business and that business gets started, and somebody asks me, well, what impact do you think that has upon the community? Well, for that business that starts, there are three things that I always think of. Number one is they're going to be charging taxes, so those taxes are going to be coming into the community. Number two, they're offering a product and or service that we may not already have, which is close by, and you can always reach the person who's in charge, which is difficult at other times. Number three, if that business grows and needs employees, then that's a possible job for somebody within the community. So there's just three ways that we can think about on the impact of it. But I wanted to share, I have a friend who is one of our presenters of our seminars at the college, and he sent this out, which I thought was really good. Starting in January, we start saying, well, when it turns January 25th, now it's 11 months to Christmas, and we start doing that every month. Well, Christmas is upon us, and this is what he had to say. He said, Christmas is not in danger. Local restaurants, retailers, service providers, artists, and makers are not stuck on a dock in a shipping container. This holiday is the perfect opportunity to shop local, purchase gifts and gift certificates, and help area small businesses live their dream. Let's make this the best Christmas ever. And we can start that right after Thanksgiving on Small Business Saturday.
That's my guest, Faye Bishop. She's the director of the Small Business Center at Isothorma Community College, talking about shopping at home the day after Christmas. And I wish we had more time to talk about it, but we're running out of time, Faye. But thanks. I hope you come back again sometime.
I'll do my best.
I'll be back in just a few moments. We have the Sheriff's Report coming up and a look at sports and the bottom of our Word of Faith Fellowship radio program.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
Here's Deputy Brandel now from the Sheriff's Department with our report from this morning.
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 120 calls for service, processed 7 arrests at county jail, and currently have 171 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Douglas Kurt McGinnis Jr., 40-year-old white male, Mooresboro, was charged with a domestic violence protective order violation, possession of methamphetamine and possession of paraphernalia. He wasn't given a bond due to the domestic violence. We have a Kevin Stewart Frederick, 50-year-old white male of Ellenborough, was charged with possession of methamphetamine and given, looks like no bond listed at this time on that. We have a Ashley Hamilton, 25-year-old black female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear on a criminal summons or citation and given a $500 secured bond. Under our incident reports, we have a, looks like Dollar General on Oakland Road in Forest City, reported a case of misdemeanor larceny. Looks like they took some plastic trash bags and paper towels and other unknown items. Looks like they've got a suspect in that case. We have a Dustin Green reported a incident of felony larceny occurred on Hudlow Road in Rutherford. Looks like numerous tools were taken to include an impact wrench, a drill, a bandsaw, a skill saw, a generator, and a chainsaw, valued at looks like approximately over $3,000. And that's all we have for you this morning.
For the 2020 season, after he lost 8 straight games the season before, Matt Rule says Newton entered the conversation after an MRI confirmed Sam Darnold suffered an incomplete fracture of his shoulder blade in last week's loss to New England that will keep him out for 4 weeks. P.J. Walker will start Sunday at Arizona, and Newton's status for this week will depend on how quickly he picks up the offense, but could compete for the starting job next week.
I won't have many hypotheticals. I won't have many long range. This is what I think it'll be. I haven't even, but our conversation the other night was good, and look forward to getting him here.
Stefan Gilmore played a little bit with Cam Newton in New England. He talked about what Cam means to Carolina, especially, and the team.
He's a hard worker. He coming back to where he knows everything. We know he's going to come in and work hard and do whatever he can to help the team win.
Tonight, college basketball in Tobacco Road. Duke hosts Army at 7. Carolina welcomes Brown to the Smith Center for a 9 o'clock tip. This is NCN Sports.
With the potential threat of COVID-19, getting your kid vaccinated as soon as possible is really the right move to make.
Vaccinating our kids will protect them from severe disease, will prevent them from hopefully spreading it to other people who may not be able to get the vaccine.
Our whole goal is to help your child and your family be as safe and healthy as possible.
Kids have a spot
to take their shot.
Kids have a spot to take their shot.
Everyone 5 and older can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
Science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM, is an important part of K-12 education in North Carolina, but not all schools are able to provide it. NC Green Power is a nonprofit promoting STEM education through its Solar Plus Schools grant program. Recipient schools receive an educational solar installation, a weather station, a STEM curriculum, and teacher training. Help North Carolina students by supporting Solar Plus Schools today. Visit ncgreenpower.org. Learn more and donate to benefit STEM education. ncgreenpower.org.
Quarterback Matthew Stafford has another target after Odell Beckham Jr. agreed to a 1-year contract yesterday with the Los Angeles Rams, 3 days after he was released by Cleveland. The 3-time Pro Bowl selection will play alongside Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, who have combined for over nearly 1,600 yards receiving already this season. The Rams ardently chased Beckham in 2018 when he was traded to Cleveland, and head coach Sean McVay has spoken glowingly of his talents over the years. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Randy Gregory will miss multiple weeks after straining a calf in practice. Mike McCarthy says no decision has been made on Gregory being placed on IR, which could force him to miss at least 3 games. He joins fellow pass rush specialist Marcus Lawrence on the sideline. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello, everyone. We made it to a Friday. We're watching a cold front moving east across the state today. The clouds will be clearing west to east, and we'll see more sunshine in the forecast through the afternoon. A lovely Friday afternoon expected with highs today in the upper 60s and low 70s. Clearer sky overnight tonight, chillier as well as we start back in the low to mid 40s tomorrow morning. We'll see a mostly sunny sky Saturday afternoon with highs in the low to mid 60s. Much colder Sunday morning. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
It's 55 degrees, sunny skies. Going to be a beautiful weekend in the neighborhood, so enjoy, be safe, and let's have a great time outdoors this fall. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is Carol Reynolds and Bonnie Lawrence. They have requested a word of caution because the material on this program will be graphic and sensitive regarding crimes against children. Now here is Carol.
Good morning. Welcome to the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. It's such a blessing to be here today with you and to share some powerful truths from the Word of God. Bonnie is with us today on the program. Bonnie Lawrence, a minister at the church and a missionary to Brazil. And you've heard some of her testimony in the past, and they're up on the radio programs. They're on the website, wordoffaithfellowship.org. And Bonnie's testimony is a horrifying testimony of being trafficked as a child and sex trafficking. She was actually, at one point, her and her sister were sold into a ring of witches and witchcraft and human sacrifice. And it's just horrifying what she endured as a child and the demons that took her mother over. And Bonnie has shared with you many truths of where she walked and as a young woman, a teenager and an adult, how she had to come out of being so broken, so devastated. You know, many people don't understand the devastation that comes from being abused as she was. Not only abused physically as a child, but sexually abused. And it takes a lot of love and a lot of healing and a lot of forgiveness to come out of things like that have happened to you in the past. And Bonnie's going to share with us today about where the Lord Jesus Christ led her into a lifestyle of forgiveness. You know, we live in an hour that family members get divided and they don't speak to each other for decades. I mean, people turn on one another. They abuse one another. And it's devastating what people have in relationships today. And it's so sad. You talk to young people, and Bonnie, they say, I don't want to be betrayed again. I can't trust anybody. And her, of all people, coming out of a lifestyle where every adult, every authority figure in her life abused her, tormented her, and hurt her. And to be able to say, I've been forgiven and I forgive is a miracle in this day and hour. And so many, you've heard so many testimonies of those that have come to our church, and they've been so broken and so hurt and so devastated by lifestyles of abuse and lifestyles of sin and alcoholism, drug addiction, and come out of those sins and come out to walk as a person, Bonnie, that's been made whole. So Bonnie's going to share with us today how she forgave through the power of the love of God and the gospel of Jesus Christ that will deal with any area of your life and make you sound and make you whole again. She doesn't live with the torment of what happened to her as a child. She lives in a new life. She's a new creation in Jesus Christ, and it's such a miracle. Bonnie, share with us today.
Good morning, and I'd like to start probably the year that everything got really bad in our lives. My mother I have an older sister, and then myself and my sister Robin. And then the year that I was 4, my grandfather, who I loved, he died. And then my mother had my youngest sister Tracy, and that was in May. And then in September, my grandmother was committed to a mental institution. She was crazy. She was an alcoholic, and she stayed there for several months. And so that year of our lives, my mother just snapped, and she just went crazy. And the one scripture that came to me was in Romans 1:25. And it says, because they exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worship and serve the creature rather than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. And that's what she did. She exchanged the truth of God for a lie. And she became, in her eyes, the victim. And everything was everybody else's fault. Nothing was her fault. And she began to serve the creature, which is serving yourself, doing whatever you want. Well, when you're a mother and a wife, you just can't go do whatever you want. And that was what enraged her. And she was so bitter. And, you know, she didn't want us. She didn't want to have us. And we were a constant nuisance to her. I mean, we were truthfully, the restraint in her life that should have kept her out of sin, but it didn't matter to her. And then she became like Romans 1:31 that says they are without understanding. She had no understanding how to be a mother or a wife. She became conscienceless. I mean, it didn't matter what she did to us. It didn't matter. I mean, it didn't matter if she wouldn't feed you for days. She didn't care. I mean, she would always find a reason and an excuse to take things from us, to take food, to take our toys, to destroy us. I mean, she became, it says, faithless, and she was with so many other men, heartless. I mean, you don't have a heart. If you can sit there and beat your child till they're unconscious and not even care, go dump them in the woods, and you don't have a conscience left. That's right. And you're loveless and you're merciless. I mean, I think the hardest thing was the mercilessness. I mean, when I was young, she would push us down the stairs and then tell us to come back up. And if we didn't, she'd bang our head all the way up, push us down again until she broke my foot. And I mean, she didn't care. She'd lock us in the attic, throw us down those stairs. And I mean, steep stairs, you'd hit the door. I mean, and beatings and beatings and beatings. She just didn't care. She couldn't stand looking at our faces. She couldn't stand giving us anything. She didn't want us to have food. I mean, she would rip it out of your mouth if she was angry with you. And you didn't eat. And she didn't, like I said, she didn't care. She locked me in a closet for almost 2 weeks. If I cried, she'd just open the door and kick me in the stomach. I mean, she had no heart left. And then the more she gave to sin that year, the more she just got so bitter at God, so bitter at her life.
Bonnie, as a result of all those beatings and abuse and starvation, you had to endure and come through a lot of physical problems.
Oh, yes.
In your life because of that.
For sure. I mean, she beat my head so many times. I mean, to where I went to a dentist and they asked me, my teeth moved. And they're like, I can't understand why your teeth move. And because I got beat so many times, especially when I wouldn't lie for her, which so bothered me. So she would just beat us and beat us and beat us. And like our toys. I mean, she took them all away. She'd take a butcher knife and destroy them. I mean, destroy them. Like my sister shared another radio, Robin, that she had a doll that she loved. And my mother took a butcher knife and cut that doll up. It was almost like she was cutting you up. I mean, she was so full of rage and murder and hatred. And then, of course, because of that, then the more the men were at our house, parties, alcohol, drugs, and of course they abuse you because you're in the midst of all those people drinking and I remember when I was little, laying outside and looking at the sky thinking, where's God? Where is he? I know he's up there somewhere. I mean, I knew there was a God, even though we weren't taught about it. I mean, I knew there was a God, but I just had no understanding of where he was, what was going on in our lives, because you're constantly punished for everything. Everything you do is wrong. I mean, you live hated. You're hated every day of your life. And the person, you watch other mothers that love their children, that hug their children. I don't even remember a time my mother showed any kind of affection from that to us at all, unless she was trying to seduce us ever. I mean, never sorry. Everything was you deserved it. It didn't matter. I mean, one time I could not stop coughing and I got beat so bad. My leg was bleeding. And she said, you deserved it. I mean, that was her thinking. It didn't matter to her.
Bonnie, for us that have never experienced that, I mean, it's hard to even fathom the cruelty of a human being that could do that. But, right here, Bonnie, the Bible's the only book in the world that defines evil and defines what sin is. But Romans chapter 1 gives the progression.
Yes.
And as you're describing what happened to you and what your mother did to you, the Bible says when you exchange the truth of God for a lie, you become reprobate.
Yeah.
And that word means there is nothing of God left in you.
Yeah, nothing.
That's why you're expressing to us that she had no mercy.
No.
She had not even a thought that she had hurt them or didn't feed them or didn't take care of them. And this is the explanation. What happens to a human being when you reject God and turn your back on God? God's presence leaves you. And the Bible says we're created in the image of God. And when she did those things and allowed those demon powers in her life, Bonnie, that's what she became.
She did.
And that's why she could do that to you.
Yeah, and we paid. Our greatest fault in life was existing. Because we existed, that was our great fault in life. And we paid for it all the time. Like I said, everything. It's like, because she didn't have what she wanted, she wasn't going to let us have anything. Nothing. If, during the year, maybe you get Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, but they were destroyed right after. Destroyed. She destroyed them. We had, in our room, we had a bed and a dresser. She destroyed everything. She eventually would take everything from us and destroy it and then blame you. It's all your fault. You did this, you did that, you did this. And everything is so twisted. And you're just living such confusion because on the inside of you it's not right, because God gives every man, they know what's right and wrong, but you live with a monster. Every day you never know what she's going to do. I remember there was one night I was in my bed and I saw this person come in my room, and they had a robe on that was just like my mother's robe and a butcher knife. And I remember just rolling over, waiting for her to stab me. And somebody made a noise, my dad, something happened, and she left. And I remember the next morning, I said, Mom, someone came in my room with a robe on like yours. She went through this whole thing, that the light from the window and the moon over the clothes made this shadow. This whole lie. That's how we lived our whole life. Just total confusion. But she would have killed me that night, but I know God spared my life. That was the depths of where her heart went. And in Romans 1:26, it says, for this reason, and it's because when they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, that she had children. She was supposed to be a mother. She was supposed to be a wife, and she didn't want to be. She did not want to be. And she wanted to do what she wanted to do. And it said, for this reason, God gave them over and abandoned them to vile affections, degrading passions. And that's what she was full of, the unclean that she gave to. And like that year, the first time my mother took me anywhere was to a strip bar. And then she met these people, and then the parties at her house, and then orgies, and then she's prostituting you out and make me pay for my food, for my clothes. If you didn't have them, you didn't get them. She didn't care if you sat there without clothes on. You weren't getting them if you didn't pay her. That's the depths of evil she went to in her life. Total despising of us. And, these are people who hate God. They hate God. And then you go, and then she brought us into those satanic rituals. And here you have a policeman sacrificing a baby. What does that do to you? You're taught policemen are supposed to help you. Doctors are supposed to help you. That's right. These people are supposed to help people, and they're sacrificing babies. They're sacrificing children. They're practicing cannibalism. They cooked people and ate them. These were depraved, godless people. And to sit there and watch all that, it made me half crazy. Because your mind can't even fathom, why are these people doing this? What is wrong with these people? And you're trapped. You're there. There's nothing you can do. You are stuck in that. And then when they wanted my mother to sacrifice a little boy, and she didn't want to, so that's when she sold us into that human trafficking ring. And then you met a whole nother level of perverted, pedophile, sick people. They were sick, and you're prostituted out. You had to do anything they said. It didn't matter. It didn't matter whether how bad somebody hurt you, what they did to you. You had to endure it, or you were dead. You didn't have a choice. If you wanted to live, you did whatever they said, the way they said, when they said, or you were dead.
And Bonnie, you said at one point that you recalled as a child in some of these abandoned buildings they took you to, that there would be like TV cameras.
Oh yeah, they recorded
filming.
They made pornography movies of every kind of pornography movie. Like I said, I've never watched a pornography movie in my life, and I could tell you about every kind of pornography there is. I mean, they had animals. They practiced bestiality. They did sadomasochism. They murdered people. They killed people. They cut them. I mean, any kind of hurt they could inflict on people, they did. And to have no heart, to not even care what you do to another human being. I mean, you are without God. You are godless. These people are godless. And, you know, your life, you're just filled with, then you become filled with hatred and despair, because that's all that's loosed at you is hatred and anger and murder constantly. It's your whole world becomes that. And then when I was younger and we'd go to school, you live in one world, and then you dread coming home. You dread where you're going to be taken, you know. But then when we were sold into that trafficking and there's no way out, I mean, that was the worst feeling in the world.
Bonnie, at any point, I know you've shared with us about James, who protected you, who went so that you or your sister didn't have to. At any point, was there any adult, anybody who recognized what was going on, what was happening, and tried to help you?
Not one. Not one. The two men that took us into it, they, you know, we got in the car and I realized, they told us we were going to my grandmother's, and I realized we weren't, and I became enraged, and I bit the man had his arm around the seat in the front, and I bit his, which he was enraged, and he beat me till I was unconscious. But he would do things the whole time I was there to make me pay for it. He tortured my sister to make me pay. But they didn't kill me, by the mercy of God. But there was nobody. I mean, that boy James was 10 or 11. And like I said, there was one man, everybody called him the queer. And he was totally the most perverted human being I think I ever met in my life. And if he took you out, what he did to you was unspeakable. And you came back bloodied, broken, bruised. I mean, and if he came to get one of us, he would go instead. And I mean, shame, he would come back in. I mean, that was hard. It broke your heart because, you know, he was the only person in the world at that time that cared about me, that I knew cared about me, that tried to help me, that tried to protect me. The only person. I mean, we had neighbors who might give us food, or, you know, like we'd help them with their groceries, might give us a cookie, but other than that, nobody. There was nobody. Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to listen. Nobody cared. Or the people like you tried to tell, they're involved in it. I mean, we went to one of these rituals, and I remember seeing a policeman, and I ran to him, and he backhanded me across the room. And I mean, here I thought, oh, somebody who can help us. And then, like I said, he sacrificed a baby. I mean, everybody who was in that Satanism was required to sacrifice somebody. Everybody. And the torture of what they did and their rituals, their practices, was everything against God. It was all designed to put fear, to intimidate you, to shut you up that you would never tell, because you were so full of fear of these people, because they were monsters. Anybody who can sacrifice a baby, cut their hearts out, cut their body parts off, I mean, and save them, there is something wrong drastically with a human being like that. And that's what these people did. And I know it's hard. It's hard for people to believe that, but it is real, and it happens. I mean, we have
and
the
Bonnie, the Bible totally condemns the practices of witchcraft.
Yes.
And from time memorial, from the beginning of the creation, God, it was an abomination to sacrifice another human being and practice that kind of witchcraft. And look what it does. Look what it does, Bonnie.
Yes.
Not only to those that practice those things, but to those that experience that.
Yes. And I growing up, the first, because, after, I just shut down, and I just didn't want to remember or think about it anymore, because it was too hard. It was too hard after all of that to remember any of it, because because it's a constant crushing of your being. So I just shut down, and I just didn't want to remember it. And I remember there was one night, there was a movie called Rosemary's Baby, and I started watching it. And at the very end, like in my mind, I didn't know what they were going to do, but in my heart, I knew what they were going to do. I knew that she was going to have a child, and they were going to sacrifice it. And I couldn't watch the end of that movie. I remember running upstairs. My parents weren't home. I ran upstairs, and I was just running around the house. I was like I felt like I was going to go crazy. It was the first time, I think, after that anything stirred a remembrance. Not that I remembered all that, but it was like I knew what they were going to do, and I could not handle it. And I didn't even know what to do with myself, you know? And growing up in all that, there was times I cried out to God, and then there were times I just thought, I didn't know what to do. And I just began to be angry at everything that happened, angry at life, angry at God. I mean, I just didn't know what to do with anything inside of me. You have all this inside of you, and then you try to live like you're a normal person, and you're not, and you can't. I mean, you can't function normal, people. You can't function normal in relationships. I mean, most relationships scared me. Men scared me. I mean, scared me. And, you know, I just got to the point where I was so offended at everything and everybody. And I just wanted to be left alone. I just wanted to live with my son in my apartment and never leave. That would have been what I thought I needed to do in my life. I didn't even like going outside because I never knew what was going to happen to me. That thing constantly tormented me. And, you know...
And Bonnie, just for the listeners, what about your dad?
My dad traveled. He played professional basketball, so he traveled all the time. He would send money home, but she would never use it on us. It was always on her clothes, her drugs, her alcohol, her partying, her whatever. Never did she spend a dime on us. I mean, we would have babysitters come to the house, and they would always complain because we had no food. I mean, they would call their mother to bring food. We had no food in our house. But my mother had food in her room that one of my sisters found out that she would, you know, do that. Or, you know, they sent us to bed at 6 o'clock at night, every single night, just to get us away from them. Well, we're not going to go to sleep, so we got belted every night. I mean, because we wouldn't sleep. But no child's going to go to sleep at 6 o'clock. But she just couldn't stand us. She couldn't stand. And the bitterness that took her over. I mean, even, you know, when we escaped, you know, there was, everything started changing in that place. And everybody knew something was going on in that trafficking place in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Something was going on. And there was word that the feds were coming, so they were disappearing everything where they were hiding, getting rid of it, and children were just disappearing, and I'm sure a lot were murdered. And that's when that man took me out. And then James came out because they were trying to abuse me, and he was trying to help me. And so he was fighting with them, and then when they let go of me, that's when he told me to run, but they murdered him. And that, out of everything I saw, everything I went through, that was what marked me probably more than anything in my life. It devastated me to the core of my being to hear them murdering him. And it's like, it crushed me beyond. I mean, you're alone again. You're left alone with nobody. Yes. Then you finally make it home, and there your mother's like, I thought I got rid of you. And I mean, to have your own mother rather you be trafficked and abused than have you in her house, what kind of human being is that? What kind of heart is that? And that's the heart she got to, because she was bitter and offended at her life. And then I became bitter and offended at my life. And, you know, this one scripture, I think, characterized my life. It's in Matthew 6:14, and it says, if you forgive others their trespasses, their reckless and willful sin, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others, nurturing your hurt and anger with the result that it interferes with your relationship with God. And I'm going to stop right there because I nurtured that hurt and anger for years. I fed on it. I lived in it. It's like I couldn't, you nurture something, you protect it, you care for it. I cared more about that hurt and everything that happened. Like I was the victim. And yes, maybe I was a victim of abuse, but I didn't have to live with it the rest of my life. And that's the hope I found in God, that I didn't have to live with that the rest of my life, which I thought I would never be able to get rid of it, but that, I remember Carol told me, she said, Bonnie, it's been 10 years. How long are you going to blame your mother? And I remember going home that day thinking, God, it's been 10 years. I can't live blaming her the rest of my life. That's nurturing your hurt. Right. It's nurturing that anger. And what did it do? It kept me far from God. That's what it does. And it says, if you keep that, your Heavenly Father will not forgive you. And I remember laying on my face and crying out to God. And God showed me that, yes, my mother tried to murder me more than once, but my words wanted to murder her. My words wanted to murder her. And what was the difference in God's sight?
That's right.
What was the difference? Yes, I didn't do what she did, but I had that same murder because my words wanted to hurt her. I did. I wanted to get back at her, and that's wrong. Because Jesus, when Jesus went to the cross, he didn't do anything wrong, nothing. And look what they did to him.
That's right.
They ripped his beard out. They beat him till you couldn't even recognize he was a man. And I mean, he did that for you. He did that for me to pay the price that we didn't have to live with anything of the devil in our life, that we could only live with the goodness of God in our heart. And I mean, I thought, well, he didn't do anything wrong. And he took all our sin, right. And they abused him and treated him and mocked him and did every horrible thing to him. And he did it willingly for us. And he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Right. That is the heart of God. And that day, I forgave my mother. I forgave every person that ever did those things to me. I forgave them, and I let it go. And one of my most favorite scriptures, I think, is in Luke 7.
Bonnie. That's a miracle.
It is, because that day when I forgave, you have to understand, bitterness, offense is a prison.
Yes,
you live in a prison.
It is.
It's so tormenting. Because everything in your life, you blame this, you blame that. And when you do that, you can't change. But I didn't know what else to do with it. But when I realized that Jesus can forgive me, and that day, I'll never forget, I got up and I knew I was changed. I knew something totally changed in my heart. I could feel it. It was like a weight came off me. It was like a prison door opened, and I could finally walk out of that and not have to live with the weight and the crushing of that abuse and pain. And in Luke 7, there was a woman, and it said she was an especially wicked sinner, a notorious outcast.
Right.
And she came into the Pharisee's house. I thought, what boldness to walk into a Pharisee's house. And they mocked Jesus, saying, oh, if he were the Son of God, he'd know what kind of woman was touching him. But, she knelt at his feet and just wept and wept and wept. And, Jesus said, your sins are forgiven. You. And he said, those who are forgiven much love much.
That's right.
And, that's the key I really saw, because when God forgives you and you can forgive people, then you open your heart up to God. That's and right. You open your heart up to the love of God. Mm-hmm. And the more he forgives you, the more he changes you, the more he restores you, the more you love him. And because I never understood what that meant, but the more that I have opened my heart to him, the more I love him, the more he has changed me and restored my life. And there's another scripture where these men brought this woman caught in adultery. They didn't bring the man, they brought her.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Jesus had the wisdom of God and said, he without sin cast the first stone. I mean, you without sin cast the first stone. Me without sin cast the first stone. I can't do it at anybody. I mean, those people who did those horrible things will never get away with it. They will face the judgment seat of God. They will face God one day, and they will pay. If they have not repented, like Carol said, in a prison cell, some of them hopefully can find repentance, but they will pay for the things they did. But I can't let their sin affect my life. I can't let the things they did control me the rest of my life. And because of Jesus, you don't have to. I didn't have to anymore.
Amen. Amen. He came to heal the brokenhearted.
Yeah.
And what a powerful, powerful testimony of God's power. We love you. We're praying for you. Go to the website, wordoffaithfellowship.org, to see other testimonies of the saving, delivering power of God. God bless you.